Listeners, close your eyes for a moment and transport yourself to a cozy cafe on a bustling street corner. Imagine the aura of freshly brewed coffee that mingles with the sound of laughter and chatter around, creating a symphony of warmth and comfort. And amidst the hustle bustle in the cafe, you catch a glimpse of a group of women engaged in animated conversation and their faces reflecting the myriad emotions of life. And at the same time, if you're a woman listening to this podcast, you reflect upon different instances in your life where you have ignored your own health, you have not listened to your body, or if you are a guy, or even if you're a woman listening to this, you reflect upon the women in your life who have either for the benefit of their family members or due to the life struggle not given enough time to their diet. That's the most crucial element in anybody's health regime. And today, as we are here, we have Nuria Rodríguez with us, who is going to help us, demystify this. Hi, Nuria.
Hello, Pulkit. I'm really pleased to be here and thank you very much for inviting me to this space.
Pleasure is all ours. Pleasure is all mine, Nuria. And listeners, I'm Pulkit Garg, your host and the founder of Anya Wellness. And today, Nuria is going to help us, navigate the path of nutrition and lifestyle choices. So, Nuria, before I begin my questions, why don't you introduce yourself to the room?
My name is Nuria Rodríguez and I am a nutritional therapist and health coach. And I help people to feel good with nutrition and lifestyle without feeling deprived.
Amazing. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for that. So, Nuria, my very first question to you is specifically targeted towards women in their 40s and 50s who have numerous responsibilities to juggle with, and sometimes at the expense of their own health, as we were just talking during the anecdote as I started the podcast. What are some of the important things that women should be prioritizing and should be looking at during this age?
Yeah, as you said, the 40s and the 50s might be tricky. And in women, especially because women at this age, they tend to have a lot of responsibilities with children, partners, parents as well, businesses, works, etc. And then on top of that, changes start happening in our bodies. Or at least more noticeable changes. And depending also on the lifestyle and health or any unattended past issues in the previous years. And I'm not talking about a couple of years before, but could be decades as well. Those changes might have a greater impact on our health and well-being. So you're asking about what women should prioritize. And I think the most important thing, I mean, the first thing to think is, are we aware that we need to prioritize ourselves? And the first step is to be aware of that and to decide, okay, if I can't do it, sometimes we need to ask for help. And for example, knocking on doors of a health practitioner or attending some events that are going to support the mind and well-being, that would be first step. It is important, there's an important factor to understand, to be motivated, to prioritize ourselves. I mean, an important factor is to understand the problem. And as somebody said, understanding the problem is half of the solution. And when we understand how our body works, and what is causing the symptoms we are experiencing, and why and what we can do to improve our well-being, then we feel more motivated and more encouraged. Yeah, but also motivation. Different, I mean, people have different motivations, people have different drives. And for example, in clinic, I work with my clients, especially with those that find harder the implementation of my recommendations, and I work around their values. And perhaps this is the first thing, one of the things we need to look into is about understanding our values, our emotions, and above all, is about understanding and discover those needs that they haven't been met yet. They are unmet needs because those are going to promote certain emotions and they are going to trigger some behaviors. Perhaps those behaviors and we want to deal with the unmet need. This is what we really, really want to do with the unmet needs to change behavior. And then in this case is moving from looking after everyone and everything into looking after ourselves first, or at least a little bit more of what we do. And it doesn't have to take ages to look after ourselves. It could be a few minutes during the day. And one of the things I really, really like to encourage to do, I mean, with my clients, is to start prioritizing themselves early in the morning, because then it's done. And in that way, the day can be completely different. So one of the things I like promoting and encouraging them to do is to spend 30 minutes with themselves and divide it into chunks of 10 minutes and then cultivate their soul, their mind, and their body. So they could do something like, for example, meditating or journaling or learning and reading something to feed their mind and exercising or stretching their body. Yes, it's about those simple things when we talk about what they should do, what we should do as women and prioritize ourselves. They are those little things that they are going to set up ourselves for success on that day. And as I said, with a few minutes a day in the morning, that would be fantastic. A really, really great start.
I totally agree on that particular front where your health should be your very first priority as you get in the morning. While I do try to implement that for myself as well, not very successfully on all the days, but probably 4 out of 7 days in a week, I'm able to do it, or 3 days out of 7 days in a week, I'm able to do that. But yes, in last 5 months, what I have done is I have ensured that at least I'm doing that 3 or 4 days cycle in a consistent manner. Even if I feel, a little lazy, I will not say lethargic, but a lazy, that I don't want to get out of my bed today. I don't want to go, for my regular walk. Okay, if I'm missing it today, I will ensure that I do it tomorrow, so that that pattern is still there. And in this, I would like to, come to a point where is diet only about controlling food, what you're having, or it's more than that? Because it's a biggest myth, as per me, that a lot of people just relate achieving any health goal, specifically when it comes to weight loss or weight gain. They only relate it to managing your diet. What are your thoughts on that?
That is a very interesting question, and especially from a nutritional therapy perspective. You say, is it just about diet? Okay, many things come to my mind in that sense. And from a nutritional therapy point of view, well, to start with, no, it's not just about diet. There is nothing like one thing is magical. There is always a series of things that can be complemented. It's like the different health practices, even medical practice, it complements nutritional practice, complements acupuncture, for example. So there is not just one single thing that it would help. But in terms of diet and in terms of nutritional therapy, I want to clarify what nutritional therapy, which is what I practice, do. So it is not just about, okay, the kind of that general line of eating healthy or not eating fats or unhealthy fats or not eating junk food or not eating ultra processed food, things like that. Nutritional therapy goes much, much deeper, and it looks at and working in a context of functional medicine, it goes into looking at the root cause of the problem, the potential underlying factors of the problem or of the health challenge, like in this case, as you have said, weight gain. So it is about understanding what is driving that health situation. And then from there, start influencing those biochemical imbalances or potential biochemical imbalances with food. So just to give you an example, it could be like, and the beauty of that is that two people can come with the same presentation and two people need a different approach because the
Mhm.
underlying issues are different.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and because we all have biochemistry individuality. So, yes, it is about food. It is about, I don't like the diet word at all. Diet, it looks like, or we have that sense of thinking of diet like something temporary.
Mhm.
And we talk about nutritional therapy, when we talk about nutrition, when we talk about nourishing our bodies, this is a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle, and that we are going to implement throughout our whole life. Perhaps it has to change. It might not be the same at the different stages in our life, but it's something that needs to be implemented, embedded in our lifestyle. So it is about food. It is about the food we eat. It's about the nourishment. It is about understanding what is good for ourselves from an individual perspective. And then all the rest that comes with lifestyle as well, because lifestyle is what possibly it affects the most to all these conditions that we have in modern society,
Mhm.
like diabetes and other chronic diseases. So yes, it is about food, nourishing, and other complementary practices that are going to support healthy lifestyles.
As you mentioned that along with the food, a lot of complementary practices come in picture when we are, working towards our health goals. It could be any health goal, our picture in our focus. So can you just elaborate a bit on the different complementary practices that one should be looking at?
Okay, there can be many different practices, but when what we do with nutrition is about, as you said, we are impacting those potential imbalances, and we look at the different systems of the body, and we know that the different systems in the body are interconnected. So when somebody, for example, could be during, I don't know, this is age, for example, that we are focused on in the people, women in the 40s and 50s, they might come to my practice, for example, with gut issues. We know that is the gut doesn't work just in it by itself, and especially if we are thinking on this context of functional medicine and a holistic approach. We know that the body systems are interconnected, so we will be looking into the brain health, as for example, gut health is very much connected, and especially the microbiota is very much connected with the brain health. We would be looking into the immune system. We would be looking into the hormone system. We would be including stress hormones. So because it is all interconnected, we need to think of, and from a nutritional perspective, we can influence with food, nutrition. We need to think of what other practices can influence those body systems, what practices can influence those potential imbalances as well. So depending on what the presentation is, there are the many different practices, but that come to my mind, and based on my experience in clinic, a lot of people come with stress issues or even trauma that are very much affecting those emotions, that are very much affecting the nervous system. And for those, we have techniques and practitioners like mindfulness practitioners or even yoga practitioners. We have EFT, emotional freedom technique practitioners. So it really, really depends on what the presentation is, because, for example, for other hormonal issues, and I'm thinking of fertility now, and also for other hormonal transitions in life like menopause, perhaps acupuncture can be very helpful as well. So it really depends on the presentation, but also connected to the person, because not everybody like doing, for example, meditation.
Mhm.
Not everybody like doing mindfulness. So this is the other beauty of the way I practice, and we other colleagues of mine as well practice nutritional therapy, because it's a very individualized approach. So I work in a very individualized way based on the needs of this person, but if we need to refer this person to other practitioners as well, we need to take into account not only the presentation that I've been talking about so far, but also the person, because we work with the person. We don't work with the symptoms. I don't work with just the condition. If someone comes to me, I've been diagnosed with diabetes, for example. Okay, yes, and what else? So we need to go through a really, discovery sessions about the person, about what has happened in their life in the past, what their health challenges have been in the past, but also the things like what traumas this person have gone through their lives, what difficult situations. And when I say traumas, I don't refer just to really, really heavy stuff, but very simple things. Yeah. So yeah, in terms of what other practitioners, it really depends on the case. It really depends on the person. It really depends on many things. But there is a really wide range of practitioners and practices out there, and I'm sure you are connected to many of them.